Hello again and welcome to h2o.inc.edu on YouTube, your free education channel. Now, I don't have a PhD, I don't have a bachelor's degree. In fact, I'm 45, still trying to get my associate in the current educational system that we have. But I want to share what I've learned over my short and humble life. Why the suit? Well, because I want to emphasize how culture and purpose are really very important. This is not for decoration, for tourism. This serves the purpose that when rain drops and it accumulates, instead of accumulating on the leather and making it wet to soak through, it drops through those fringes and the water has a way to escape. So it creates an escape route for the water. That's why the suit. And it was made here in the US. So American culture has a lot of value to it. You know, the leather cuts the wind, the rain is taken care through those fringes. It's how to deal with the element and your environment. And so I wanted to relate this to our Mayan zodiac that I was talking about earlier. I don't want to keep beating on NASA the way they do on astrologers, so here's where the 13 really fits. Yes, 4 cycles of 13 resets the Mayan calendar to 0. And the Mayan calendar, when the researchers did their documentary on Netflix or Amazon, I don't remember which one, they figured out that the hieroglyph symbols had a matching letter for the alphabet, and so there was 19 letters and there was one missing empty slot, you know, and so they thought that, well, the Mayans, like the Incas, didn't have the wheel because they lived in mountainous region. They didn't have mathematicians like Pythagoras to come up with pi. So their math maybe might have been offset, but they created one empty slot because they had the 0 that the Arabs found out, or actually maybe it might have been the Indians, who knows. We'll have to research that. That might be interesting to research. And so Venus in Greek mythology is the goddess of beauty. And if you think about it, those hieroglyphs are beautiful. It's all about how to embellish the beauty of your culture and your alphabet and your numerals. So how majestic is that? So when Cortez comes in and destroys all of it for the sake of, oh, we'll bring you a better system, wow, how arrogant, you know? And they left us with this 13 base system. I mean, it's actually 20 base, but in it, there is a wheel of 365 days for the sun, the 20 base for the Venus, and then the 13 that is common to not just that 13 zodiac sign in the sky constellation of Ophiuchus, I think that's what they named it, but it's also relevant to Uranus, which has 13 rings, and Jupiter, which has 13 vortexes, 5 north, 8 south. Now, in my studies of trying to comprehend the link between Chinese astrology and Greek astrology, I realized one is following the sun in 12 months, as the earth goes around, and the other one, the Chinese one, even though it sets by starting by the first full moon of the year, the reality is the moon takes 28 days, not 12 years to go around. So it's really linked to Jupiter's 12 years orbit, one sign of 1 year each. And the Greek mythology says that the signs were organized in the order in which the animals arrived in a race, the rat being first, the ox being second, and so on. So if you see a Chinese wheel on Google or online where the pig is put second to the right after the rat, you know you're looking at a wrong image. It's a mirror image and it's misleading. And there's a lot of misleading information on the internet because it's profit-based, not relevance-based. So anyway, to get back to how they match, this is how they match. Every time Jupiter is in a house, like in the case of my mother in 1939, Jupiter was in the house of Tiger. 39 is 3 times 30. What a coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence. I'll show you later. But anyway, Jupiter was in the house of Pisces, and her Chinese sign is the year of the tiger. 39 is the following year, but she was born on the cusp, February, So that's why her sign is Tiger. And when I was born, I'm of the Hare sign, and I was born with Jupiter in Aries. So that's how I saw how the zodiac aligned. And you can do that same exercise for yourself by searching a birth chart calculator online and comparing dates to see where Jupiter's position is relative to the zodiac of the Greek zodiac, and then comparing it to what Chinese year was it, and you'll see that it matches that very same wheel. The first Chinese sign being the rat, the second being the ox, the third the tiger, the hare, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the sheep, which is the 8th house, notice matches the 5th house of Leo. Just as on Jupiter, 8 vortex south, 5 vortex north. There's no such thing as coincidence. The sky is what ordains everything. That's why we pray to the sky in any civilization. Whether you would be a Mayan and praying to the sky god to give you water to irrigate your field so that you can grow a crop, and you need to calculate the zodiac in order to know when to plant, when you will be able to harvest. And this is important. If you plant too late in the year, your crop might just be ruined by winter, or it might be hitting a drought season. So that's why the calendar is circular originally, because the heavens are circular. And we've been praying forever, God, please let it be on earth as it is in heaven. Well, our prayers have been answered. We just stopped looking. Just that simple. We stopped looking at the simple evidence that is presented before us. When things add up, they add up, Just as easy as 1 plus 6 plus 5 equals 12. Well, 165 years is the orbit of Neptune, which rules the 12th sign of the Greek zodiac, Pisces. And it's the 8th planet. 8 times 2 is 16. The 16th letter of the alphabet, the Roman one, is P, like Pisces. And so letters change, just as interchangeability between Neptune and Poseidon, because you go from a Greek zodiac, which is base 24 letters in that alphabet, which was following the sun, Helios. And so there's another important thing about this calendar, is that the orbit of Venus is 225 days. When you multiply that by 4, that gives you 900 days. And there's a connection between that 900 days and the 29-year orbit of Saturn, but I will explain that when we get to Saturn. I don't want to make videos that are too long and will get too confusing if we just intermix topics. However, I wanted to finish with this, and this is about the number 7 again. How does it relate not just in astrology, but to our own belief system? All religion have 7 sins. Sorry, I can't put my other fingers up. I'm looking at a piece of paper here. The 7 sins are pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, and sloth. But they also come with 7 heavenly virtues, which are prudence, justice, temperance, courage, faith, hope, and charity. 7 and 7 is 14. Just half of the moon cycles 28. So if the Sumerians of Babylon had 7 gods and prayed those 7 gods to forgive them 7 times for their 7 sins, that 7 is really magical. And if it makes 12 for a 12 zodiac, I don't think that NASA, who's been spitting in my face for the last 20 years, is in the right position to decide whether or not we should divide our time or our circle in 12, 13, or 20. Personally, I like to divide my time in a little bit of time for my family, a little bit of time for cooking, a little bit of time for for the cat, a little bit of time for making videos for you guys, and a little bit of time for myself too. We have to divide that time, and that's what that wheel teaches us, Just as the rain comes with the wind first and all that, well, Aries is first the self. Taurus comes in second place and is ruled by Venus. Why is it ruled by Venus in second place? Because Venus is the second planet from the sun. Then comes, so in first, if I take care of myself first thing in the morning, well, I should take a shower because that's self-care. When Taurus comes, it's about the beauty of Venus. Well, then maybe I should comb my hair and put on a nice suit so that I appear respectable to others. I don't want to be insulting to them. And then come Gemini, which is the air. So now I have to start thinking about how am I going to divide my time today. And then comes Cancer, which is emotional intelligence. And so now I have to think about how am I going to divide myself with my emotions today with regards to my family or with regards to my coworkers with whom I may disagree, and realize that if we have a disagreement, it's just about one thing. Doesn't mean I dislike the person as a human being, because we're all equal and we all have value, we all have purpose. It's just defining that purpose that is difficult, but it doesn't always have to be a struggle if we learn how to share and divide properly, equally. And so with that, I'm going to quote again Chief Sitting Bull and tell you that knowledge is worthless until it is passed on. So sayonara.